The goosebumps hit my whole body. The chill ran down my spine. And I could feel something staring at me. Hey everyone, and welcome back. It has been only 1 week. Shocker. I am back this week. I hope you really enjoyed last week's and the YouTube video that followed. If you haven't caught it, head on over to my YouTube channel. It will be in the show notes. And see what I got up to at the Fortress of Louisburg. But today's episode, it's actually stemming from the fortress, so I hope you're ready. It's a story I really haven't shared with many people. Well, let's just get into it. From Cape Breton, it's Saturday night. Alright, so I don't even know where to start with this story because it's a doozy. Like, it's one that I honestly thought I was a little cray-cray, you know? It's paranormal or something. I stumble across this subject because I really don't know how to feel about it. I don't know what it was. I don't know anything, really. All I know is what I saw. So I will get into that. I will tell you exactly what I saw and how it went down. But why am I talking about it this week? Well, again, I went to the Fortress of Louisburg last Saturday, for a ghost hunt event. It was so fun, so amazing. Shout out to the Fortress of Louisburg Association, Haunts from the Cape, and 2 investigators that came down from Halifax to assist, Bill and Dana. It was really, I can't even stress enough how fun it was. It was my first group event. There was about 36 of us, I guess, plus all the investigators and Parks Canada employees that were on site. It is a National Historic Site that is run by Parks Canada. If you are in Canada, from Canada, you would be very familiar with that term, Parks Canada. If you're not, if you've never visited, it is an organization, a federal organization that runs our national parks, so landscapes, parks you can visit, as well as national historic sites such as the Fortress of Louisburg and the Citadel in Halifax, as well as the Alexander Graham Bell Museum here in Cape Breton Island. So things that are historically important to Canada are run by Parks Canada. Okay, that out of the way, let's get into the night. So the night began just as normal. Started to meet some people, get to know some new friends. Went on a little tour of the area. I won't go into grand details about the whole night. You can see that on my YouTube channel. Again, it's linked in the show notes. And if you're just visiting me for the first time, you've just stumbled upon this podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts, make sure you rate this because it really helps the podcast reach more people, and that would really help me out. If you're viewing this on YouTube and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button below and like this, and that way more people will get to see it, and that would really help me out as well. And I do truly appreciate it. Everyone that stops by to listen, that's awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, so we're doing our thing, and one of the spots that the group I was in was investigating. I wasn't really paying attention to the investigation part of it. I was kind of being more social and meeting people. And one of the people I met was telling a story about a dogman. And that really intrigued me. I actually walked up and said, I'm sorry to interrupt, but can you elaborate? What are you talking about? Tell me more. So he did. And he was actually relaying a story that one of the investigators that was conducting the investigation I was not participating in had experienced himself. So when this investigator was done and we were moving on to another location, I stopped him and said, hey, So I hear that you saw this Dogman thing. I just want you to know I saw one too. So that kind of intrigued him, and it really intrigued me. I was shocked. When I heard that somebody had seen one, my jaw probably hit the floor. It was dark, you probably couldn't see it, but I felt it. It hit the floor, and I had never heard of anyone ever seeing something like that before. So I've never researched it. I've never seen or heard any other podcasts about it. I've never seen any YouTube videos about it because I've never even Googled it. I didn't even know what to call it. It kind of would resemble, when they say Dogman, it kind of resembled like a werewolf kind of thing. But again, since I thought I was the only one that ever saw one, I thought maybe I was going through something back then and was a little crazy. So let me tell you my story. First, I'll give you a little bit of a background on me. I've been experiencing the paranormal since I was a young child. So I have many stories. And I've seen my fair share of weird and freaky stuff, but this was far beyond anything I've ever experienced or seen before or since. Like I said, I honestly thought I was a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, you know what I mean? It wasn't until I heard this guy's story that I thought, damn, that's validation. Somebody else has seen this. Sorry, pardon me. So here's my experience. Back March 2001. So we're heading back over 22 years ago. It was nighttime. It was a clear night. It was cold. I mean, Canadian winters can be fairly cold. And my best friend was moving with her 2 young children to Ontario, where her husband was working. So I wanted to spend as much time with her before she moved as possible. And this certain night, she had a few errands that she had to get done before she left, so tie up some loose ends kind of thing. And so I volunteered to be her driver. I pick her up, we head to town, or to the city, the only city on the island, and we do, a few things in the city, tick off a few things off her errand list. And then one of the last things that she wanted to do was go to her grandmother's house and drop off a book that she had borrowed. So we finish up in the city and we head back out to the country, or like we like to call it here, the boonies. And we head to her grandmother's house. This is, I don't know what time it is, like 9 o'clock maybe at night. Again, it's winter time, so it's dark as crap out there. And it was a clear night. You could see the stars. There was snow on the ground, but the roads were clear and the driveways were clear and all that stuff. So we head out there and we get to her grandmother's house, which is located off the main highway. And I pull down the driveway, which is roughly about a quarter mile or so, give or take, a few feet. So I pull down the driveway and to the back of the house, small, quaint little white house. And I'm parked in the back by the back door and the back step. And my car is facing the tree line. There's a small embankment of snow from where the driveway had been plowed against that tree line. So I'm sitting in the car, my friend gets out, her 2 young children are nestled all cozy and warm in my back seat in their car seats. They're very young. I think one was 9 months old and the other was a toddler. So they're all nestled and cozy in the back seat, and she goes into her grandmother's with the book. So not only is she just quickly going in, dropping the book and leaving, she wants to say a proper goodbye to her grandmother before she moves. And I knew that before we got there, and I'm more than patient to wait. And we didn't want to wake up the children to go inside, all of us, so I sat in the car with the children. As I'm sitting, listening to the radio, waiting for her, I can see where my headlights are shining against that bank of snow, which is not too tall, maybe about 1.5 feet, 2 feet. There's the trees in behind that snow. And on top of the snow, I start to see glowing eyes. We do have a lot of wildlife here, especially in the countryside. Coyotes, they're plentiful. There's a lot, and when I say a lot, I am not exaggerating. I think I could say thousands upon thousands of coyotes on the island. To see one, super common. However, to see a pack, that's not very common. So I'm looking and I see multiple sets of eyes. So I'm really paying attention. I'm looking hard. Like I'm leaning forward, I'm grasping the steering wheel, I'm looking, and I'm seeing at least 8 sets of eyes. And then they move forward and I can see that they're coyotes. I can see them. My headlights are shining on them. I turn the high beams on. I can see them clearly. And this is when I start praying that, oh my God, I hope my friend doesn't come out of the house right at this moment, because if she did, she'd be walking down the stairs facing these coyotes. And it's a pack of about 8, like I said. So as I'm praying that she doesn't come out at that moment, I'm thinking, how can I scare these guys off? Like, I don't want to throw anything or do anything like that. I don't want to harm them, but I kind of want to like burp my horn or flash my lights or rev the engine or do something that kind of scares them off into the distance. And as I'm thinking about this, I haven't done anything yet, because I really was trying to think of the best way to do this without waking the children or alarming my friend that she does come out, where I didn't want her to come out at that moment. So I'm thinking about it, I'm praying that she doesn't come out, and then I feel it. I felt this unbelievable sear of goosebumps and chill. The goosebumps hit my whole body. The chill ran down my spine, and I could feel something staring at me. I'm sitting, again, I'm going to describe it, in my vehicle. I'm in the driver's seat, and I could feel something to my left. And of course, here in Canada, we do drive on the right side of the road, so when I'm sitting on the left and I feel to the left, it means I'm looking out my driver's side window. So I slowly turn my head to look out the window, and there's this thing. This massive, must be 6-7 feet tall, muscular, standing on 2 feet, hunched over, bent down, staring at me through the window. And I say he, it could have been a she, God knows, but it is staring at me. Its eyes are like too small for its head, it seems, piercing through me. I could see its fangs. It has horns like a ram coming out of the top of its head. Its head is the size of my window. It is tawny brown to a gray color, the whole thing. And its face kind of resembled a mix between a coyote and a wolf. Immediately, within milliseconds, my head whips to the back seat. So I turn my head to the right and look in the back at the 2 children. They're still sound asleep and safe. And as I whip my head around to look at the children, I slam my left hand down on my door, not on the door itself, but on the, I don't even know, the handle, I guess, where the buttons are for the windows and everything. I had an automatic lock to lock all the doors. This is a 1993 Chevrolet Cavalier. It's a boxy car. Not the sleek little ones like the Cavalier and Sunfires that were the late 90s into 2000s. This was a boxy sedan, but it still had the bells and whistles of what modern day is common. It was pretty fancy back then. So I hit the all lock button as I look at the children. So I am seriously milliseconds here. Not 30 seconds, not a few seconds. It took me like whip your head around, whip it back. That's how fast it was. And when I looked back, it was gone. Gone. Not walking away, not running. It was just gone. And I look ahead of me for the coyotes, and they're gone. Not one left, not one set of eyes, not retreated back in the tree line. There is nothing there. And I start thinking, what the hell did I just see? So, a few moments later, she must have been in the house about 5 to 10 minutes tops. This all happened in that time. My friend comes out, I unlock the car, she gets in, she's like, why'd you have the car locked? And I must have been white as a ghost. Now, I'm pretty white anyway, but I must have been pretty, pale. And she looks at me and she's like, oh my God, what's wrong? And she looks back at the children to make sure they're okay. And I'm like, I'll tell you in a minute. We need to go. So I back up, I get out of there, go down the driveway, get on the highway again, and we're pretty much done for the night as far as the errands go, but I can't, just drop her off and drive home. I'm terrified. I am bone-chilling, scared out of my wits. I need to drive back to the city where there's lights, where there's people, because I can't stay here. I can't stay in the darkness of the countryside. Not right now. So we drive back to the city, we grab a coffee at the local Tim Hortons, and we sit. The children are still sleeping, by the way. And I start to tell her my tale, my story. And my friend, not shaken by this at all. I mean, a little scared for me and for what I had seen, of course. But it doesn't seem to fizz her the way I thought it might. And then she tells me, well, that area, that's known as Devil's Pass. Many times her grandfather had seen what I had seen, or at least the remnants. And what I mean by that is he'd be hunting and out in the backwoods, and he'd see a trail with 2 hoof prints and a tail marker. And he always told his grandchildren, the devil is out back. I don't know how true that is, but I'm telling you, I know what I saw. And if I could describe it in a few words, in one sentence, I would say Hollywood got it right. What they depict the devil as, with that grimacing, large, kind of animal face with the horns and the muscular body, that's it. That's what I saw. Now, whether or not you believe me, whether or not you believe in the paranormal, that's up to you. I can only, it still gives me shivers and I can't even put my words together, but I can only believe in what I see with my own 2 eyes, and that's what I saw. So next week, I don't know what I'm going to tell you, but I have plenty of these kind of stories. Maybe not this grimacing and scary, but I have plenty of paranormal stories. So maybe you'd like to hear something like that. I'd love to know what you'd like to hear. So leave me a comment, whether it's on YouTube, on the video, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. Leave a comment and let me know, or you can write to me. I'll leave the email in the show notes as well. And you can tell me your stories. Maybe you'd like to share something you've seen. Maybe you think you're alone in what you saw, just like I thought I was alone. Just so you know, you're not. You're totally not. I'm now in my late 40s, I saw this thing when I was in my mid-20s, and for all this time, over 22 years, I thought I was a little crazy. But after last weekend, I now know I'm not. Well, until next week, guys, take care, have fun, enjoy Canada Day today if you're celebrating and you're in Canada. Happy Canada Day. See you later, friends.